Hello, Akita here, and I'm gonna go ahead and do like a little bit of an overview of some of the tools that I use for my printables and pop membership that I use for my tutorials and so forth to generate images using AI. So I made a video about saving money on tools and things like that, using an actual technique that I call the subscription hustle. I'm going to link that video below, something like that, just so you have access to it. But I had this follow up question about, okay, someone had watched the video and said, okay, so which ones do certain things the best? So this is just simply according to Akita, my take on it, because I know that depending on your prompting, how you use stuff, even outside of the different tools, you can end up with vastly different outputs from the different AI image generators. That being said, I'm going to give you the best that I have in terms of what I've experienced, because I do test things pretty thoroughly for my membership, and kind of just give you the information. You can do do with it what you will, and hopefully it'll be helpful to you. Okay, so I have here, and this is all going to be below too, a Google Doc, and I also have a slide deck of images that I've generated myself using these different tools. I tend to kind of stay around the same sort of tools just so that I do not get tool fatigue myself. I am working full time outside of my memberships and so forth as a fifth grade teacher, so I want to make certain that I'm not stretching myself too thin in terms of chasing the next shiny object, things like that. I like to make certain that I have used all my tools that are in my sort of toolbox that I kind of work with sufficiently and tested it thoroughly so that I'm not hopping around as much. And the same thing for the members of my membership. I'm assuming that I'm not the only one that gets tool fatigue. So that being said, first one up is Midjourney. So it's best for watercolor, I found, paintings, realistic images of people, 3D CGI folks, watercolors especially, it's very good at. I don't think that there's any other generator that's as good at Midjourney. That's just my opinion. According to Akita, that's just been my experience. Good at mockups, things of that nature. I did a whole slew of mother type images, ladies with little girls, little boys, that sort of thing, like just for Mother's Day type of things or what have you. So that was put into the membership just February 1st of this month is when I'm recording this. So they would have time to go ahead and create stuff for Mother's Day, for springtime, that sort of thing. But it does a lot of cool stuff. Plus it has SREFs that'll go ahead and tweak the styles and things of that nature. A lot you can do with Midjourney, but I love it for paintings, things like that. Really, really, really awesome. Nano Banana, Gemini. Do I have one for that? I'm pretty sure that I do. Okay, so Nano Banana, Gemini, pretty good at instruction following, good at directed drawings, images, things like that. I was generating things for Holy Week and so forth for testing for Etsy and things of that nature, so it came out really good. Very good at coloring pages. You know, the bold outline, it's pretty good too if you prompt it the right way. Good for mock-ups as well. Good for handwritten stuff, realistic things. If you just Google Nano Banana prompts, you'll see some cool stuff. The only thing that you want to be aware of is that little watermark that pops up in the bottom right hand corner of anything generated Nano Banana. The only workaround for that would be doing stuff in Galaxy AI, which does, I'm skipping ahead of myself, but whatever. Let's go down to Galaxy AI. So all-in-one access, it's what they call an image aggregator, where you have access to Midjourney, to Ideogram, to a bunch of different AI image generators, and you can basically get the same output for the most part. I would say 90% of the time you get the same output, but then somehow in that 10% sometimes it ends up doing something weird. I don't know why more people don't go with this, just because it is an all-in-one. And I'll go to that one right now. In Galaxy AI, I did a bunch of my actual promo images in there. I wanted a graphic novel kind of style for my Mighty Micro App workshop. And I just wanted to depict myself, or at least a woman who was kind of simulating me, as a superhero, talking about how we're going to build really cool micro apps in my 2-hour workshop. So I did a bunch of my promos for that, and they turned out really awesome. But you can also do mock-ups, pretty much anything that you can do in Nano Banana, in Gemini, you can do in Galaxy AI within that 10%. So once again, for every tool there are caveats, and there's no perfect tool. I've said that multiple times, which is why I have so many that I go back and forth with, because each one does something better. But there's a lot of, you can get a lot of mileage in Galaxy AI for sure. I know that I do. All right, let me pop back up here. Let's look at ChatGPT. So ChatGPT does a pretty good job. Like it's kind of like the, I don't know, like the jacked up cousin, like the ignored cousin of the AI image generator world to a certain extent, because Nano Banana came on the scene through Google with Gemini and blew everybody out the water. That being said, there are certain things that ChatGPT does better, like the digital airbrush look for illustrations, for the baddie illustrator like this. It does much better with that. Claymation type stuff, it's good with that too. Coloring pages, color by number type stuff like this right here. Bring to the front, order, bring to front. It does very, very well, astonishingly so. But it also works very well within Galaxy AI too, because I've tested both. So I like to test. Let me see here. Let me go back. Put you back where you need to be. Basic clip art is good for pretty much all of the AI image generators, depending on what type you're trying to make. I've done a lot of classic, like escape room type images in there too. But all of this was all made here, and here. This was all made in ChatGPT, especially with their upgraded 1.5 image model, like upgrade. It's doing really, really good with a lot of stuff. I've been impressed by it. For ChatGPT, it's not bad. And there's certain things that I can do in ChatGPT that I cannot do in Nano Banana Pro. And some of the stuff I talked about in my membership and other stuff I've mentioned in groups, but it does have a spot. I do pay for it, but there's free and paid versions for this. I've tried to note that in the actual tables that are here, so you have that handy too. Text as well for ChatGPT is really, really good. Text for Nano Banana, like edits and things like that on the fly for instructions, also pretty good for Nano Banana. There are a couple caveats, things you have to be aware of, like being very specific about what you want to have changed, but by and large, not bad at all. Artistly, so that's a pretty good tool, but this comes with a caveat as well. Like it's not in my top 3, but I do go back to use it for certain things because it does cool stuff. Now, you do have to go mining for the gold in Artistly, and this is why you see so many people in the Facebook group complaining about how hard it is to navigate. And I'm not gonna lie, Artistly does have kind of, like as I'm clicking through here, like look at all these different tools. Like let me just move ahead. There are all these different tools for all these different things, but if you kind of know what tool you want to go with and you're kind of like testing things out, it's very, 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 very good in terms of a tool that you can use. And there are some people that just dedicate their time in the Facebook group just to Artistly. Like that's all that they're in, that they try to actually use, and they've gotten very good at creating stuff in it. Now that being said, I have other tools that are more so my preference, but I do like this one feature for the AI art illustrator where there's so many different styles already set to go ahead and give you your lovely little outputs, whatever you're going for. So you basically just choose a style. Like say you want to do Pixar style. I'm going to say here, a girl with red curly hair playing in the mud. And we'll say she's smiling, all right? Something like that. You choose your dimensions, whatever. I'm just going to go with one by one, generate the image, and then you're off to the races. So here are some other images right here. Like I'm in my personal, my personal, I guess, AI image generator repository. And so then we have, if we click on this, we have the girl playing in the mud. Super cute, already set. So if you're someone who's like, and this is one that I did earlier too. If you're someone who's like, I just don't really want to like worry about prompting to that extent, and you're like digging the Pixar image, like this is cute. This is adorable. This is something that if you're someone who's like, I just don't have the mental bandwidth, I just want certain styles to be recreated. Like it has adult coloring book pages, whimsical fantasy illustrations. A lot of people who are in the KDP space, I found like in the Facebook group and people that I've spoken with really do like this for the KDP type of like options. Like if I go to kids puzzles, it has maze generators, word search puzzles. Are they perfect? No, there are some tweaks that you do have to do. But if you're into KDP, for a one-time price purchase, Artistly is certainly a viable option, especially if you're someone who's like, I don't have a huge budget. I kind of want to play with it. I got the actual premium, which is like $149 when I purchased it. I don't know if it's the same. I know the basic version is like $49 at the time of this filming. So it's just simply like KDP more. I probably have to add this. Great for KDP sellers. Once again, caveat, you are going to have to commit to figuring out what your workflow is and what tools do certain things. I've done a bunch of videos in my YouTube channel for it, but I have not really, that's a drop in the bucket compared to what it can really do. Just going to say that. Galaxy AI, I kind of spoke about in terms of just having access to all the different image generators, which works about 90% of the time. That other 10% is like, wah, 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 you just don't know. And it is on a credit-based system, so be mindful of your credits. However, they do have different options for you to be able to get even more credits. Your credits reset every month, and then you can top off or hit that little free button option to give you extra credits. As long as you log in every day, you can go ahead and get extra credits there. Okay, Whisk and Mood Board. So we have Whisk and we have, I'm sorry, not Mood Board, Mix Board. I always want to call it Mood Board. But basically for the Mix Board, you end up clicking an image and you type in what you want to change. I did a whole video on this. It's in my YouTube channel. If I remember, I'll link it below. But basically I started with this one image right here and I changed her. So I was trying to do something like this. I gave it some instructions down here. Make her sit next to a bunny and wearing a dress. I did this one here. Okay, I want her to be going down a hill sledding. And so this allows you to go ahead and tweak images that you already like, but you've run out of credits in Gemini, like it's like capped you off, or in ChatGPT, it's capped you off. I don't hit those limits too often since I have the paid plans, but when I was rocking out free, which some of you still are, and there's no judgment there, I've been there, that's kind of, that's the life. This might be a secondary option for you. Here for Whisk, same exact thing. You basically, let's see if I can get back to my projects. Where's my project? Let me go to my library. Okay, for Whisk, same exact thing. So I was doing like a baddies collection of different things. Here, where'd you go, guys? Where'd you go? Come on. I want to keep this video short. Okay, my baddies collection. So I had something that looked like, I had my original source images, which was this right here. Like I just dragged it on over. And then what I simply did was I just said, okay, so take this, change the style of the characters into a, I don't know, I'm going to say lavender and yellow color scheme. Fashion forward theme, change the type of clothes each person is wearing, and change their poses. So mixed board, and do I even have the right aspect ratio? I didn't. It's gonna be jacked up. Sorry, this might be jacked up. It may have defaulted, but basically stuff like this allows you to go ahead and make edits en masse pretty quickly using these free tools. Is it gonna load? Yeah, it's going to load, but it's going to load like 9:16. But it did what I asked it to do. Different poses, different colors, and yeah. So that is basically it in a nutshell. I'll link everything below, but this is it according to Akita in terms of what I use in my membership for my members. There are other AI image generator tools that I'm sure are phenomenal. I'm certain that they are. They just aren't ones that I'm using as yet. Right now. I like to keep my wheelhouse relatively small to make things manageable. But that's about it in a nutshell. If you're liking the teaching, the learning, if you could hit me up with a like or a subscribe, I would so appreciate it. It costs you nothing and it means the world to me. So that's about it. You take care and remember everything is linked below. Have a good one. Bye.